Hello, everyone. Thank you for listening and watching. My name is Nefertiti, and you can find my information in the description box below. I am a distance spiritual coach, spiritual teacher. So this is an energy update for the week beginning January 12th, 2020. So just briefly, I want to touch upon some of the energies that are present that we've been talking about for the past couple of weeks, like the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which we're going to be feeling the effects of this pretty much the whole year, because we have Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter in Capricorn, and they're going to be there for the rest of the year, kind of playing out these scenarios of purging and rebuilding, death, rebirth, transformation, right? The building of the new structures. We're really starting to see the deconstruction of 3D in all areas, right? Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We're also seeing this in our collective at large, right? Hopefully you're not watching too much news, but I think it's unavoidable at this point to kind of hear about what's happening, what's playing out in politics and all over the world. But the energetic cleanup has begun. We're going to have more and more light codes and upgrades streaming into the planet. So it's so important to trust yourself, to trust your intuition during these changing times. Another thing that I'm really feeling like Spirit is telling me to communicate with you is to really learn about multidimensionality and what that means, right? You know, my channel is all about spiritual practicality. We hear these spiritual terms, we hear all of these these new ways of being and doing, but some of us want to know how. What does that mean? To kind of break these things down in practical terms, right? In practical ways that we can implement these techniques, these new frequencies into our lives. That's what integration is. And so trusting your intuition is a huge part of that. Taking action on any ideas, thoughts, visions, even if it's small steps, because all of the planets are direct right now. Uranus just went direct in Taurus. So that's about awakenings and epiphanies and surprises, expecting the unexpected, right? Shaking up those structures. One of the hardest things in life is to let go of what you thought was real. And I feel like that's going to be a huge theme going forward. And the more awake and aware that we are, the easier this process is going to be. So let's go back to multidimensionality. I'm going to tell you a little story. So I live in the inner city. I live in downtown Oakland, and we know that inner cities tend to attract a certain element. So as I'm taking a much coveted nap yesterday afternoon, I hear this huge crash outside of my window. And I get up and look, and there's two cars that have, obviously crashed, two minivans. And then I see three people taking off into the apartment complex across the street from me, hopping fences. I saw it was two guys and a lady. The lady, she hopped an 8-foot stone wall in a dress with flip-flops on. I digress. But as this is happening, the police are coming, and they're, in front of the apartment complex with guns drawn because they must have run into somebody's place. I still don't know the backstory. But as I'm watching this, I'm really asking Spirit, like, why am I seeing this? Because I'm not one to kind of stand around and watch drama. I'm very sensitive. I can feel the emotions of other people very strongly. So I learned a long time ago that when things happen, if it doesn't involve me and there's nothing I can do about it, then I just keep it moving. I'm not going to stand there and watch and like, ooh, oh my God, what's going on? And being nosy. Like, no. So all of this is happening outside of my window, right outside my window. So I can't help but to see it. And so I'm asking Spirit, what do I need to know about this situation? And the word that popped into my head was multidimensionality. So if we look at this scenario from a linear perspective, right? I see a car crash, 3 people getting out and taking off running, and the police are coming, right? I know that the police are going to eventually find these people and arrest them. End of story. That's linear. We're looking at this same scenario from a multidimensional point of view. We see not only the accident, the people running from the accident, the smashed up cars, the police, and all the people coming outside looking, we're also thinking about the backstory. What if this lady has kids that are in school and now she's in a police standoff and she's not going to see them, at least today, maybe not ever again? What are these people running from? What if they do that so bad that they have to run from the police and hide in somebody's apartment? And what about the people's apartment that they ran into? What about the families that are all standing outside watching this, perceiving this? And then a couple of hours later, after the girl finally surrenders and they find the other two guys, they're walking the lady down the middle of the street. Everybody's staring at her. She's crying. And I just immediately felt her pain and her hopelessness because I'm empathic. And that came to my mind, like what the lady is feeling, like what's going on in her head. And as a result of this incident, what's going to happen to these three individuals? Do they have prior records? Are they going to be going to prison for the rest of their lives? Like, this is thinking about it in multidimensional terms. And so that's just a very practical way of looking at situations from here on out. We're not just seeing what's on the surface. We're reading between the lines, especially if it's an experience that has an emotional impact on you. You definitely want to check in with spirit. What do I need to know about this? We've got astrological alignments that have not occurred for over 500 years happening right now. So this is really scrambling people's eggs, especially if they're not awakened and if they're still living in that fear paradigm. This could be very interesting for them. So it's very important for you to keep your vibration high. And what that means to me is, number one, practicing compassion, not sympathy. Remember that people have lessons to learn. Saturn, Pluto, Capricorn, that's a very karmic transit. And karma is not good or bad. Karma just is what it is. It's cause and effect, right? So we have lots of opportunities to make corrections. This is Earth School, and Spirit gives us as many opportunities as we need to learn the lessons that we need to learn. Unfortunately, if it's a lesson that we get to repeat over and over again, the situations often get worse and worse. Because I feel like on some level we are aware that we need to repent. And I use repent not in Christic philosophic terms, in the literal sense. Repenting means to turn around and go in the other direction. And we have opportunities to do that in every single moment because it's always our choice, right? So I would encourage you to take action, to continue to purge and cleanse your life, to be open and receptive and willing to change, to shift, to transform, to reconstruct, and continue to do your shadow work and all of your clearing methods, right? Chakra balancing, crystal baths. Maybe you're drawn to some fasting, cleaning up your diet, going to bed early. You would be amazed at how much better people feel just after getting one good night of sleep. All right. So during this time, if you're feeling led to sleep more or even turn in early, please do that. And learning to do one thing at a time. Schedule time for meditation, self-love practices, and relaxation, because these are the things that allow us to continue to get clear guidance from our spirit team, which is going to be pivotal at this time. It's so important for us to use our discernment because lots of energies are being stirred up, right? This is like the rapture in biblical terms, right? Judgment Day. And remember, this is not good or bad. If you've done the work, your rewards are coming. If you haven't done the work, then you get to repeat cycles. It's as simple as that. And it's going to be a lot harder because a lot of the energy that created those old cycles that we're being led to dissolve right now is not even available to us anymore. So you're just basically trying to revive the dead. Necromancy, right? So move on with your life, do the things that you're led to do, and take your time, be gentle and patient with yourself. All right. So let's talk about some of the astrology going on. On the 13th, we have Venus moving into Pisces. This is a very charming and creative and playful transit, very spiritual and romantic. It might be some very nice energy coming in to counter all the seriousness that we're dealing with, right? But, you know, Pisces can be sometimes a little bit idealistic, perhaps delusional. So again, discernment is key. And empaths, this is definitely a time when you should be using your protection tools, crystals, invoking the white light meditation, whatever it is that you do to protect your energetic body. All right. On the 15th, we have the Venus now in Pisces sextile Uranus in Taurus, now direct. So this is progressive, innovative, going with the flow. Venus sextile Uranus is a very tolerant and positive, open-minded transit. You might be drawn to unconventional things and attractions. So that should stir things up a bit, right? On the 16th, we have Mercury the messenger, moving into Aquarius. So this transit is very visionary, very analytical. You're able to see things clearly. Clarity is going to be a huge theme this year with the 2020 vision, right? The 2020 vision. And this could be an emotionally detached time. You know, don't get too much into ignoring your feelings, though, and getting up into your head. This is a time right now when we're seeking a lot of balance. So epiphanies and revelations come in, right? Then you act on them. That's how we integrate the changes. You take the action that you're guided to take. On the 18th, we have Mercury squaring that Uranus. So this is about challenges, maybe surprises, challenges in integrating our newfound perceptions, right? Expect the unexpected. And this is, you know, about us. We're not able to play it safe anymore, right? We have to make the changes. Allow yourself to be guided. But we've got to be willing to dissolve these fear themes and just do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Because we have the tools, we have the material, so let's build. Let's build this thing, all right? It's time. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been doing all this work for. So light workers, it's time for you to take your post, and we don't try to recruit people, right? That's old energy. We're not trying to get people to join our cause, join our group. All we're doing is living our truth. Being a positive example for other people to follow, focused on our purpose, our mission, and keeping peace in our lives. That's how we influence people. We don't want to manipulate people. We want to influence people because then the power is in their hands. And that's the only way that you can really win, is when you're using your power. So let's move on to the angel number. And the number that's been coming up heavy is 792. And this is a number indicating that you are well prepared in all ways to serve your life purpose. And this is a confirmation that you are a light worker. So if you see this number, that's an energetic cosmic message from the universe that yes, you are a light worker, and that you can give any of your fears to the angels, to your spirit team, for healing, and get on with living your purpose and passion. And always be open to receiving messages, signs, synchronicities from unusual and unexpected places and sources. Because again, we have Uranus energy direct, right? Uranus has checked in. So your angels are going to be giving you guidance. So pay attention. Pay attention to your environment. Pay attention to your senses, the sensations in your body. And this is about expanding your spirituality and really embracing and loving your spiritual practices, and that you can really, really trust that your angels and guides are supporting you, that you do have a purpose and a mission, and it does involve setting a positive example for other people. We're not focused on being perfect because we're human. We embrace our humanness, but we do the best we can where we are with what we have. Let's move on to the crystal, the gemstone. And again, it's black tourmaline. Spirit is really, really liking black tourmaline for the people that listen to my videos anyway. But it's just a premier protection stone, right? If you haven't gotten black tourmaline by now, please go get it. It's readily available. It's usually super cheap. I mean, you can find a pocket stone of black tourmaline for like 75 cents at most crystal stores. So, you know, Amazon, they have it in bundles. You can buy it there, but get you some black tourmaline, sleep with it under your pillow, meditate with it, carry it with you as you're out and about, maybe create a crystal grid. So yes, black tourmaline is highly protective, but what we're working on right now as the Lightworker Wayshower Collective is energy transmutation. And that is one thing black tourmaline is great for, is turning negatives into positives, calling that negative energy back into the light, back into source. And that is about lessons, learning the lessons, right? That's the practical aspect of integration, is lesson learning. And when you have learned a lesson, you won't repeat the cycle. That's how you know you've learned. But this is not about feeling bad about yourself or getting down on yourself. You haven't done anything wrong. Some of us are very advanced souls, okay? So we've come into this lifetime to learn harder lessons. The people that are just now waking up, maybe they're like in kindergarten when it comes to the lessons. Even though they're going to be going through rapid advancement, their program's going to be a lot more accelerated than ours was, for sure. But they're at a kindergarten level, so they'd get simpler tests, easier tests to pass, right? Like, for example, do I go back in and return the extra $5 that the cashier gave me? Because I know it's not mine. I know that it's wrong. If I take it, do I continue to go on about my business, or do I take it back into the store? Right? And if you get all the way home with the $5, that's different. But if you know that you have extra money that does not belong to you, you take it back into the store, or do you keep it? That's a simple test. Some of us get more challenging tests, right? Like, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent this month, or somebody just carjacked me or ran into my apartment and held my family hostage. So those are harder tests. You see what I'm saying? And so getting back to the black tourmaline, like I said, it's just one of those stones that everybody should own. It's a Capricorn gemstone, so it's an alignment with all of the energies that we're working with right now. So please get you some. All right. So let's move on to the oracle cards, and 2 cards came out, and this is very heavy energy right here. The Protection Guardian and the Elder. And I am using the Angels and Ancestors Oracle card deck. That's the deck I've been guided to use for a couple of months now. So I'm going to actually read out of the book that comes with the cards, because I feel like we need to get some extra clarity and we're dealing with some very heavy, intense energy. So let's read the Protection Guardian first. It says, drop any shields of shame, resistance, and fear that are standing between you and your chances of enjoyment and fun. Know that you don't need to hide who you are or your gifts. You were born to shine. The Protection Guardian is a female version of Archangel Michael. She is fierce, protective, yet loving. A warrior angel who carries indestructible shields of power and protection and will come to all who call on her. She will help you to drop your fear-based shields, move into a loving, protective force field, and keep you safe, but also will allow your gifts to shine. Although she is here to guard you from lower energies, she is completely relaxed, serene, confident, because she trusts that love will always prevail. And so here's the extended message. You may have encountered shame or embarrassment in your past, but that is not your present. Angels are drawing close at this time to help you move beyond any limiting thoughts, emotions, and patterns that may be making you feel unsafe. Know that angelic protection is swirling around you at this moment and will help you to move forward in a more fearless way. Call on your guides for help in changing your frequency so you can feel safe and protected at this time. You are stronger than you think, and your angels and ancestors are here to help you realize that now. So this card is about protection. We're being led. We're being protected. This makes me think about the eye of the storm, right? You see that little gem she has in the middle of her hand? That's where we are. We're right in there. And we can learn to move through our lives without getting involved in the chaos, in the storm, because we're being protected. So let's move on to the Elder card. And this is not a card that I pull that often, the Ancestor card. But I really feel like now we are definitely more aware of the fact that we're dissolving ancestral patterns. Those things that have been occurring in our lives for years that we have maybe consciously tried to resolve, and we have not had any progress or very little progress. And we've been asking ourselves, why? Like, why am I always fucking broke? Why am I sick? What did I do to deserve all of this karma? Right? But it's ancestral. It's in your DNA, and it's playing out unconsciously. And so we're looking at this now through our shadow work and through these astrological transits. So let's read from the Elder, the book about the Elder card. Moving beyond ancestral patterns. Move beyond the limitations that have been set for you by family members past and present. Know that the energy of your spirit is more powerful than genetics and behavioral patterns. The Aboriginal people are the oldest tribal people still living on the planet. They are hunter-gatherer culture, and ancient spirituality are rooted in tradition and balance of the earth. So the Aboriginal ancestors are offering you not only wisdom that will help you heal and adapt to the ever-changing planet, but also an understanding of what a spiritual life should be. The Elder is the ancestor who comes with the message of healing change. He is an embodied soul, yet he has journeyed beyond the physical. Therefore, he represents a reclamation of power. When he appears, it's an acknowledgement that you have the capacity to move beyond the limitations that have been placed upon you. If you have had expectations of success, failure, sadness, or even sickness placed on you by family, it's important to know that you are here to create your own story. This card represents personal healing that will bring healing to your family lineage, past, present, and future. Know that you get to decide what you take on, and also know that your ancestors are rooting for you and they are sorry for any setbacks they have created for you. And boy, as I'm reading this, I'm getting angel bumps all over, because this is truth. The fires, the brush fires in Australia, as above, so below, as within, so without. We're burning up those ancestral patterns. And I'm not saying that what's happening in Australia is a good thing. It is not. It is absolutely terrible. But again, we're looking at things from a multidimensional point of view, right? This world is both beautiful and brutal, right? It's caring and it's chaos. It's love and it's loathing. So we have to embrace that polarity and take the middle path. Just like it says in Buddhism, we're not good, we're not bad, we're all of these things, because all things work together for our good. To them that are called and chosen for a purpose, right? I'm paraphrasing, but that comes from the Bible, but it's literally true. So thank you so much for listening and watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will be posting the energy update on Fridays going forward for the following week. That is one of my goals for 2020. So keep me accountable, all right? Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Please be gentle with yourself. I'll talk to you soon. Namaste.